everybody. This is Joseph Pasek of barnburner.ca. Our twice daily Fired Up show is available on 108 platforms, also on the OSG Sports app. Welcome to Creative Control Wrestling Show with Giancarlo, Aulino, and a special guest. Ken Shamrock is on the line with us. Ken, how you doing?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
All right, Ken, let's get to the big thing here. You're back in wrestling. How long did it take you, and how much did you miss wrestling?
I actually tried it. I went to Australia, had a gig there. They were actually going to pay me pretty well, so I went and I did the show with them. And once I got in the ring and I started moving around a little bit, I was like, man, I miss this. So I started to, I did the one show, and I said, hey, you guys interested in bringing me back? I'd love to continue on doing something. And so they brought me back again, and I'm going back again. So I have an opportunity now to really start working in pro wrestling. I made an announcement not too long ago for people to watch out because I'm coming back. So things are going really well. Got a lot of other people interested in bringing me in. And so I think it was just that one time where I got in the ring and just wanted to see whether or not I still was into it, man. When I got in there, man, it was like I didn't miss a day. I loved it. I'm performing well. I feel good. My body feels good. So I'm full on right now, man. I'm ready to make some noise.
All right, so before Giancarlo asks his question, one follow-up there. You mentioned other organizations have been in contact with you. I'm going to ask you point blank. If you can't say anything, that's okay. WWE, Impact Wrestling, and there's a new wrestling league or organization, All Elite Wrestling. Have you been in contact with any of those three?
One of them, and I'm not going to say which one, but one of them I did because I was at a show and they happened to be there. But right now where I'm at, I can be truthfully, really honest with this. Right now where I'm at and the way things are going with me on the independent circuit right now is that I'm doing really well. The organizations, the independent wrestling, starting to make a good comeback. They're really being able to take care of the wrestlers. And you have a lot more freedom to kind of do what kind of you want to do in the ring. You don't have to follow a storyline for 6 months. You can create your storyline within the few months, depending on how long you're there. So there's a lot more leeway for guys like myself who have already been at the top level to be able to go on some of these independent shows and create their own storylines and be able to be more creative with themselves and the people that are around them. So right now I'm really enjoying where I'm at. So we'll see what happens in the future. But right now, man, I'm really happy with the way things are going.
All right, Giancarlo?
Yeah, Ken. And now it's WrestleMania season. A lot of people are all hyped up about wrestling. It's a big event. A lot of events going on around WrestleMania. Are you planning on being around at WrestleMania for the weekend? Like, do you have any autograph signings going on that week?
Well, there's a friend of mine, Jan Murphy, where we've talked about a few things. So we'll see what happens. I know that there's a possibility we might not be able to do something together, but nothing's really put together yet. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how my availability is because we got a lot of big things in the works right now that we have coming up that I'm sure you guys want to bring me on for later on. But right now we're waiting to see how that all plays out. It looks like we might be launching here real quick. So we just have to wait and see how things are set up for me and where I go from there.
And just to follow up on that, WrestleMania, I had to bring this up because a lot of people have been tweeting in when they heard that you've been coming on. And WrestleMania 13, that legendary match, you were the referee, world's most dangerous referee, Bret Hart and Steve Austin. What was your initial reaction of when they told you you're going to be working with these two guys, and what was the reaction in the back when it was all done?
Well, when I first heard about it, I wasn't sure how I felt about refereeing a match with those two guys. Like I said, I was really kind of even going into pro wrestling. I just didn't know how I was going to like it because I seen it on TV. I enjoyed watching it, but I came from the MMA world, and I was like, man, I'm going to try it and see how it goes, and then we'll just go from there. And I remember when they announced I was going to actually announce the match for Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin, I was able to get into it. Like, I couldn't really fake something that wasn't real. And so I remember when I got into the match, about 5 minutes into the match, I literally had forgot that it was pro wrestling. I mean, I was literally watching these two guys beat the heck out of one another, and I was right in the middle of it. I was excited. I was refereeing like it was a MMA match, because they literally were out there doing the best job I've ever seen anybody do when it comes to one of those I Quit matches. So it was tremendous. Even in the back room after it was over, I think there was a lot of questions on whether or not those guys were really going after one another. So, and even myself, when I refereed the match, I couldn't tell myself whether or not they were really going after one another. So I just basically went at it just like it was a real fight. And it was a tremendous match. I thought it changed the dynamic of wrestling. It really opened people's eyes up on how wrestling really can be. And so I was really happy to be a part of something that big, and that was historical.
Okay, a couple more questions with Ken Shamrock here on Creative Control Wrestling Show with Giancarlo Aulino. This is Joseph Pasek of Barn Burner. All right, Ken, WrestleMania, Giancarlo said it, WrestleMania 35 just around the corner, 35 years of the granddaddy of them all, biggest like Super Bowl of wrestling. What's your favorite WrestleMania memory? And also, sort of a tie-in also, you're known in the MMA world. What do you think of, let's say, the MMA or Bellator nowadays to when you competed back 15 years ago?
Well, let me answer the first one. My memorable moment would definitely have to be, there's a bunch of them, but I would have to say WrestleMania 13, being the referee. There were so many things that were I just didn't know where I was going to fit in or whether or not I would like it. Could I deal with the stuff that wasn't real? And then when I did that match, I realized that, man, wrestling isn't fake. Man, these guys are really going after one another. And so I really fell in love with it at that point. That has to be my most memorable moment, being able to suplex all of those guys, and especially, the level and talent that I was in there with. It was just amazing, and stuff I'll never forget. But like I said, I had a lot more moments too. But that one had to start it off, man. It really gave me an understanding of what pro wrestling really was.
Okay, and the MMA world?
Well, I went through 3 generations. I was in it in the 80s, late 80s. I was in it in the 90s and the early 2000s. So I got to see a lot of the transition, be a part of it. Obviously, in the 2000s, I was more on the, trying to fight my way up a mountain.
Yeah.
Because I was so older than everybody else. But I really get to see the change, the weights, how people were cutting weight, putting weight on, how I didn't have an understanding how to cut weight because we didn't have weight classes. So it was a disadvantage for me to even have weight class. I would have much rather gone in and fought guys that were bigger, lighter, than I would not have to cut weight because I thought it was a disadvantage to me. But that was one of the biggest things with the 2000s was the weight being brought into it, and it really, I think it hindered me quite a bit. And I would have to say the biggest difference now between just all of it put together was that when I did it, it was literally style against style. There was not everybody doing the same thing. You had guys that would take guys down. You had guys that would be strikers, and that's basically what you were. You're a striker or a grappler. And so that would be probably the biggest difference from when I was in my heyday to where it's at now, is basically there were styles that were predominant: boxing and kickboxing and wrestling and judo and jiu-jitsu and, shoe fighting and all these different styles that were truly style against style, and it was really interesting to see what kind of styles would prevail.
Okay, so just one more before Giancarlo asks his. What is left for you to do in wrestling? Like you mentioned, you're having the time of your life, you're making good money on the independent circuit or whatever, but everybody knows you as the world's most dangerous man. You were in WWE, and you still have a huge name. What is left for you to accomplish in wrestling?
Yeah, I would have to say the one thing I haven't done yet was really capture the heavyweight belt in WWF. I don't even know if that's ever going to be a possibility. But if it is, I want to make sure that I give myself the best possibility to go in and be able to take a shot at that belt by staying on the independent circuits and working as many matches as I possibly can by sharpening up my skills. And if I ever do get that call to go back, that I've given myself the best chance to be able to capture that belt. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to work the independent circuits. I'm having fun doing it. I'm very happy with the way things are going. And if that opportunity comes, it's not going to be to go there just to be able to be one of the wrestlers. It's got to be an angle for the title. And if I can get that, then I definitely would love to go back and do that. But if it's not for that, then I'm going to stay where I'm at.
Giancarlo?
Yeah, Ken, on Monday, it was announced that the Hart Foundation will be going into the Hall of Fame. Your career and the Hart family, it's like intertwined. A lot of people know you as with Bret Hart and training up in Calgary and that legendary match you had with Owen Hart in the dungeon. Can you just talk to us a little bit about, Bret Hart, the influence he had on you in your career, and what is a memory you have maybe of Owen Hart?
Well, Owen Hart was really a great person. I thought he was the kind of guy that, you could talk with and, get a straight answer from him. Never thought that he was trying to work you over or that he was looking for something from you. He's a genuine guy, good person. I thought that he was one of the better guys in our industry. Ashamed to see something like that happen to him. And I would have to say, as far as my career, I thought Bret Hart gave me a lot of early on good things to think about. Don't ever try to be something you're not. You're an MMA guy. Go in there and do what you do. And don't be a pro wrestler. Be an MMA fighter. Be you. Be the world's most dangerous man. That's who you are. And so a lot of things he gave to me that I really held on to and really helped me develop who I was as a pro wrestler. That I wasn't a pro wrestler. I was a fighter, MMA fighter in pro wrestling. And so I was able to keep my identity going in that way and not falling into the trap of trying to do what everybody else was doing or getting other people to make me follow a mold that I wouldn't be able to hold up to. So that was a really good thing for me. And I had guys like The Rock that were really memorable moments for me. And being able to, when he was, struggling and not really finding his identity, and I was in there trying to find my identity, and we put us together and we worked an angle. And during that angle, we both found our identities. We both went over huge in what we were trying to do, and we really became who we wanted to be for ideas and things to really build my character on. And then The Rock really helped me sharpen myself, iron sharp as iron, and I believe that's what we did for each other.
So I want to quickly, we're going to close it out. So after a couple more questions with Ken Shamrock here on Creative Control, tell me the first thing that comes to your mind with the following people that I'm going to ask you about. Vince McMahon.
Okay. Trendsetter.
Triple H.
Do I have to answer that one? Triple H. I would have to say opportunity.
Dana White.
Also another guy, man, I got to say something nice here.
You don't?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, Dana White, I would have to say, if I had one thing to say about him, was innovator.
Okay. Jim Ross.
Oh, very creative, verbal genius.
Rock.
Yes, you smell what The Rock is cooking. One of the top entertainers of our time.
Okay, and finally, the Hart family, Bret Hart, Jim Diablo Neidhart, the Hart family.
Man, I would have to say one of the most well-recognized families in pro wrestling.
Okay, and here's one final one, and then Giancarlo, you could close it out. When you're backstage with the WWE, what is the locker room like? Do you guys have a beer? Do you guys talk, or there's no talk? Are you all friends? Do you hate somebody? Like, what is really backstage in the WWE like?
It was just like, I think anything like being a rock band where you've got personalities and characters that clash, and then you got personalities and characters that get along. And so you got cliques that happen where groups kind of hang out with one another. And, of course, every now and then you get arguments and guys, want to scuff every now and then, and you just kind of like let it happen. And, but you do have cliques, man, and you got to jump in a car with someone.
All right, Giancarlo?
Yeah, Ken, just closing on my end with any advice you would have for the athletes, whether it be WWE or MMA, All Elite, like all these organizations, because your upbringing, as people who followed your career like myself, like it wasn't the best upbringings and picture perfect. So you struggled early on. You had to work at it. You had to make changes in your life. What advice would you give to athletes, maybe in a similar situation or who want to work to go on a path to become a better person all around.
Yeah, I would definitely say gather information, listen to people that have been there before, but don't take on their identity or follow them like a clone. You got to develop your own personality and character as you go, but listen to everything going on around you and take what you think works for you or where you're trying to go.
Okay, finally, Ken Shamrock, tell everybody how to reach you social media-wise or anything else that you want to say. Plug a book, plug where they can see you, plug anything. It's your time now.
Yeah, I would say go to KenShamrock.com. I've got my Twitter, I've got my Facebook, Instagram, all my social media stuff's on my Facebook. It's KenShamrock.com. Also, any information that we got going, like I got a book coming out. We've got some things coming up real quick here in July or June and July, where we're going to be starting something new. And so if you want to find out what I'm up to and what we're doing in the next couple of months, go to KenShamrock.com and look on my social media stuff, and you'll be tuned in to what's coming.
And when you sign on with a big organization like we talked about, you're coming back here, right?
Absolutely, brother. I'll love to hit you up because it'll be something big.
All right. That's Ken Shamrock. Check it out. Giancarlo, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at John_411, Instagram at Giancarlo_Aulino, and follow all my articles on barnburner.ca.
Thanks a lot, Ken.
Hey, appreciate you guys, man. God bless.